Investment Act, which is a $100 billion fund to secure 325,000 teaching jobs, increases in Pell Grants, reform efforts such as Race to the Top, and investing in innovation. And that money is also used to fund low-performing schools and districts. On a national scale, 22% of students in pre-K to 12 are Hispanic. Of those 22%, only 63% go on to earn high school degrees. And of that even smaller number, only 13% go on to earn a bachelor's degree in college. As a KCMSD Latino graduate Lincoln class of 2012, I can tell you from experience that it was a struggle, and it still is for current Latino students to get through high school and get through college. My question to you is, when will Kansas City or Missouri in general see part, if any, of that $100 billion to help our Latino students in this country, and how will or might the money be used? Also, how will you help implement positive changes for the education system in Kansas City and or Missouri?
So, a lot there, so I'll try and walk it through. The mayor and I, as the mayor said, have had a number of conversations about the state of public schools here in Kansas City. And I won't get my numbers exactly right, the mayor will have them better than I, but I know the turnover in superintendents over the past 2 decades or 3 decades has been just extraordinary. And there is nothing positive about that. That is not how any successful company is run. That's not how any successful music company is run or sports team is run. Leadership matters in business, in education, in nonprofits, and whatever it might be. So having stability of leadership, not firing the superintendent every year or every 16 months or 18 months, having the community unite behind the need for improvement. I think student achievement here is far lower than it should be, quite frankly, and having folks put aside politics and ideology and, frankly, adult issues and adult dysfunction and just put the needs of students first. Easier said than done, but I think that's what has to happen. And I think the mayor and other leaders are working hard to try and figure out how to do that. But in any successful organization that I've watched, Raza, others, NCLR, whatever it might be, you have stability of leadership. She doesn't disappear from her job, 2 years after she showed up. It just doesn't happen. And so, and hopefully she's not going anywhere. So, you have to stay with stuff. Change is hard. You have to stay with stuff. And the idea here that you can just chop and change literally every 18 months just doesn't, it's dysfunctional. I don't have a nicer way to say that. So I think structurally this thing has not been set up for success. It actually really saddens me how many young children did not have the opportunities they should have had because of that. Don't have all the answers, happy to have a conversation about that. In terms of funding, the vast majority of that money has gone out, as you said, to save teacher jobs, to invest in chronically low-performing schools. We were able to save a couple 100,000 teacher jobs, which we feel great about. As a country, we also lost a couple 100,000 teaching jobs. And so we would love to have more resources. That didn't happen. So we need to continue to invest. You mentioned, I think, the school improvement grants, money that went to the lowest performing schools. That, I think, has not, frankly, gotten enough attention. Race to the Top has gotten all the attention. That was $4 billion for the country. The school improvement grants were $4 billion for the bottom 5% of schools, a massively disproportionate investment. 1,300 schools that were really struggling, many of which are doing much, much better after a year or two. Long way to go, but real progress. But I think what we have had collectively, quite frankly, is too much complacency, too much being self-satisfied. And when you have a 30, 40, 50% dropout rate, we are devastating entire communities. And I think we collectively have been lack the impatience, lack the sense of urgency to challenge that status quo. And think about how we do it as a community. You need great teachers, you need great principals, you need great superintendents. You also need healthcare clinics. You also need food for children. They also need to be safe. You need good wraparound services, and being willing as a community, not just the school system, but nonprofits, social service agencies, churches, the philanthropic community, everybody stepping up to make sure no child falls through the cracks. That, I think, has been missing in far too many places.